ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday. It's the weekend. And we have weekend review to do, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Lone Wolf Oosel. I am here to present you with about 2 hours for goodness. We're starting our day off with Judge Stevens. And you know Judge Stevens, he's not happy. He's not happy at all. Then we're moving to Judge McNally, who's always pretty happy, but sometimes has people in front of him that are a little bit disagreeable. Then we're moving to Judge Middleton, who, you know, he's always somewhere in the middle, and he's got a crazy case, and we're going to hear all of it this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, all that gets started right now. I'll see you between dockets. How does that sound?
Two cases are now called 22-40272 and 40273. You were Damon Berryhill.
Yes, sir.
Present with your attorney and the state's attorney. There are two motions to revoke unadjudicated probation, which I think what they allege the same things, right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, what are we going to do today? What are we going to
I've been
do?
in discussion with the state about a
That's good.
reinstatement of his probation.
What are we
because
going to do?
of the amount of restitution that he owes. So we would like to reinstate his deferred probation via dismissal of the motion to revoke probation, but we didn't know if you were amenable to that due to the restitution amount involved.
Well,
We want to make sure that the people who are owed the restitution get access to the restitution. He's unable to do that while he's incarcerated.
he's been on probation since December 14th, 2022.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so well, let's do the math. That's 23, 2 full years and about 3 months,
Yes.
27 months. How much has he paid for this? He hadn't been in custody. He's been on probation, right? Okay, in 27 months, how much has he paid back?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing.
Nothing, Judge.
You know where I stand on that. Let's go. Let's do the hearing and go through the revocation and sentence him to prison. That's what we do. That's what we do. You don't care about victims. These people are owed money that was ordered. You don't care. You've been on probation for 27 months, not one penny. You show you don't care. Let's set it for a hearing.
Okay, let's set it for hearing, Judge.
Well, this isn't going to be hard. 1 week.
Okay, Judge.
Okay. All right. What's next?
Jalen Fitzgerald.
Jalen Fitzgerald. Everybody has to understand, you're wasting your time going in there if they're not, I'm not going to take deals and give people rewards, shortening probation or releasing them from probation when they have an obligation that they don't even lift a finger to absolve them for. I mean, everybody has to know that. That's what the people who put me in this office say is fair, and I don't disagree. You hurt somebody, a victim, you pay them back. You don't, that's how you purge. But if you don't, that's heartless. That's heartless. Where are we on this one? What are we going to do? Do we have anything like that here?
Judge, this is one that we had started a formal hearing on, but since then I have spoken with my client. He intends to make his change of plea into a true plea to the violations of probation. This one's kind of a weird situation. He had 3 different cases where he was sentenced in 3 different manners initially.
Okay. Do we just have one here?
Just one here.
In this
but
court?
the circumstances surrounding it all arise from this court.
Okay, I guess I'm going to find out how this works here in a minute. In 235045, you were Jalen Wayne Fitzgerald.
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Lower your hand. Okay, does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes.
He's going to be pleading to this? Is that what we're doing?
He
Or
already pled not true prior at a separate hearing date, but now he intends to change his pleas to true.
okay, because I didn't write anything of not untrue yet. So I guess
Okay.
there must have been something that came up where we decided
To
maybe some
postpone
more
the hearing and come back.
time was
That's
needed.
correct, Judge.
All right. In summary, sir, this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation filed August 14th of 2023. Why did it take so long? Was he an absconder or something?
No, he has been shifted around to several different places. So
For pending cases?
yes,
Yes, sir.
Judge.
All right. On June 21st, 2021, in this court, This states you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a second-degree felony. Is that true, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Allegation one states you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office for the months of December 22nd and January, February, March, and April of 2023 in violation of your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Two, states you failed to provide verification performing community service hours as required. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Three, you failed to enter and successfully complete the Jefferson County Drug Intervention Program, JCDI.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that true?
Yes, Your
And four, you failed to wear a secure continuous remote alcohol monitor. We call that SCRAM, ankle bracelet
Yes, Your Honor.
as required in your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading true to allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 voluntarily and because those allegations are true as they are alleged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand by that a voluntary and knowing plea of true to one or more violations of probation, that is enough to grant this motion to revoke probation? Your probation can be revoked and you can be sentenced to this second-degree felony, no less than 2, no more than 20 years confinement in prison.
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true nonetheless?
Yes, sir.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. Is there an agreement or anything? Is there an agreement on this? No?
No, Judge, there's not.
We're, okay. All right. So it's going to be up to me?
There was also originally a cap negotiated with his initial pleas of 12 years to this specific charge.
Yes, ma'am.
But I would like to provide the court with.
Yeah,
some
I want to know as much
circumstances.
information as I can about where he stands on all of this.
So in May of 2021, defendant pled on 3 different cases, including this probation one that we are here for today. The other 2 were sentenced to actual time. So he had a state jail felony that he got 18 months for. He had a 3rd-degree felony that he got 8 years TDC for, and then he got deferred on this 3rd charge that we're here for today that the state is attempting to revoke. The 18-month state jail sentence was completed and he was discharged in,
What was that for again?
it
What
was
was-
for DWI child passenger, state jail felony.
Okay, thanks.
He was released and discharged from state jail in October of 2022 at that same, or he was discharged January of 2022. And then in October of 2022, he was paroled from the Larry Gist unit for his 3rd-degree felony. From there, he was immediately transferred to Orange County to serve additional time for another issue that he had over there. Whenever he was released from Orange County, he walked to parole from Gist.
No, from the Orange County, I walked to Ill house, that was parole, and then they put me on a Greyhound and sent me to Ben Reed in Houston, another halfway house.
In
Okay.
Houston. So then he was in Houston. In November of 2022, he was picked up at the Harris County bus station to go into a transitional center. From that transitional center, he telephoned his probation officer here in Jefferson County to let her know that he was in that transitional center. And then he also, I believe, you contacted probation in December and January of 2020.
Oh, yes,
December of 2022 and
Yes, ma'am.
January of 2023.
yes, ma'am, I did, and it was not currently Miss Vega that I have now, it was
It was-
another one, Miss Petlum, and then they switched. She's been my probation officer since January 8 of 2024, and I was already in the Jefferson County Jail by that time.
So whenever he was at the transitional center, starting in January of 2023, he did leave the transitional center himself because there was a really bad drug problem occurring within that transitional center. Throughout that process of leaving.
Wait.
he-
Okay.
He voluntarily left. Another
Because
term
of
for
the-
that is absconded.
Yes, sure.
But the drug problem within that is what pushed him to remove himself from that
I don't
situation.
understand that. How did such a thing happen? That caused you, with your rich history of mistakes, how did that embarrass you or humiliate you or demean you in some way when you were trying to fix your problem?
because I was really trying to rehabilitate myself. And then when I left the halfway house over there, I got hit by a car, and they broke my right leg, they tore my left ACL, put me in Memorial Hermann, and then I turned myself into Harris County February 3rd
Of what year?
of
2023.
2023, yes, sir.
So he left and then was immediately hit with his karma for leaving, literally
What
hit
was
by
the
a
date?
car.
Like the end of January sometime,
Of 23?
yes, sir.
Okay.
And then he was admitted to Memorial Hermann for a couple of weeks. As soon as he was released from the hospital, his sister drove him to Harris County, to the Harris County Jail to turn himself in there for leaving the treatment facility or the transitional center. In March of 2023, he was released from Harris County Jail, excuse me. And he was wearing a parole issued ankle monitor. He was still in a wheelchair. He was staying with his cousin.
What was the date?
That was March of 2023, March 29th of 2023. And then in April of 2023, he was arrested in Jefferson County for a parole warrant. And then the administrative hearing that we're here for on the motion to revoke probation was conducted May of 2023. And then he was released after his blue warrant was lifted in June of 2023 from Jefferson County. He was taken to a halfway house, and that status was reported to Jefferson County Probation in June of 2023. And then in August of 2023, this motion to revoke probation was filed.
So, what did the probation office do wrong in any of this? Where are they wrong in their allegations of wrongdoing here? As I'm reading these findings on this hearing of May 9th, 2023, that show you're to blame.
Yes, sir.
I mean, all I'm hearing is everybody else's problem. What are you admitting to?
Yes, I'm admitted for leaving the halfway house on both occasions. I did do that. But May 9th, I was in Jefferson County Jail and I still have my ankle monitor on whenever the warrant was issued. And then I got out of Jefferson County June 27th, the month that follows that, and they let me go from there and send me to the halfway house. Yes, and I am held accountable for leaving it, and I accept the responsibility that comes with that, Your Honor.
I think what we're trying to show with this timeline, Judge, is how much he's popped around from here to Orange County to Harris County to transitional centers to halfway houses. There has not been a solid amount of time that he has actually been out to do these requirements that he would need to do on probation. What was it, 65
Then-
days?
Yes, 65.
You have a copy of this May 9th,
I have one that I've written
2023
on.
hearing. No, I've got it.
Oh.
I'm just working off of this. And you can see, look at the highlights,
Yes.
that these aren't good. The highlights mean
Yes,
this
sir.
is bad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Ms. Palm had fixed up all these, and I know this person to be accurate. And this is not a good rendition of your responsibilities on probation. And the administrative hearing was conducted on May 9th of 2023. You weren't present. I think you were somewhere else. But I don't think it was necessarily your fault. You were somewhere else. The defendant was granted probation on June 21st. At sentencing, was also convicted of attempted burglary and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Released on parole October 4th, 2020.
Yes, sir.
Subsequently transferred to Orange County to serve out other warrants. Released from Orange County on November 1st, 2022 to his parole officer, Ms. Harrison. Ms. Harrison informed the office on the day of defendant's release that the defendant would immediately be transported to Southeast Texas Transition Center in Harris County, where he would remain until he was able to establish other means of housing. He was given instructions to make arrangements to report to the Jefferson County Probation in person as soon as possible, so that a request for courtesy supervision of his case by Harris County could be made. During the month of November, he made contact with his officer several times by phone to report he did not plan to remain in Harris County long-term and was in the process of getting his parole transferred to Jefferson. No contact was made during the months of December 22 and January 23. In February 23, Officer discovers the defendant was arrested on a parole violation and incarcerated in Harris County Jail from February 3rd, 23 to March 30th. After his release, the defendant made contact with the officer and was provided with instructions to once again report to the probation office immediately. He failed to follow this directive and was a no-show for the month of March 23 and April 23. He was eventually arrested on another parole violation on April 22nd of 23. He remains in custody at the Jefferson County Jail at this time. So you've been in custody since in here?
November 5th of 2023. Yes, sir.
Okay, you were arrested somewhere else, I guess, April 22nd, 2023, and ultimately was transferred to here.
Oh, in Nederland in Jefferson County. Yes, sir. In Nederland on April 22nd, I got arrested and I had crutches. They brought me Jefferson County Jail. And then that's whenever May 9th, she put the warrant. And June 27th, they let me out to 2495 Gulf Street.
Which is the halfway house.
Probation officers tried to work with the defendant, has been considerate of his living situation. However, the defendant has had multiple opportunities to report to the office and fails to do so. And we recommend proceeding with the filing of the motion to revoke probation. You get a sense of frustration
Yes, sir.
from them because you're not on probation if you're not being supervised.
Yes.
We have to be able to supervise you face to face, you know. Okay. As of March 9th, let's see. Says you failed to report as instructed for the month of December 22, January 23, February 23, March 23, April 23. Has made no face-to-face contact with this department since his release on November 21st, 2022. This was dated May 9th of 23. So we're talking about 6 months. Failed to perform 800 hours community service, has completed 0. Failed to enter and successfully complete the Jefferson County Drug Intervention program and pay all associated costs. Failed to wear a secure continuous remote a scram ankle bracelet and owes a balance on court ordered fees of over $10,000. Yeah, frustration reeks here. And we have so many people on probation that the probationers have to abide by their obligations. After all, they're the ones that have the most to lose by failing. So what does the state say? Let me find out what everybody wants.
All right, so Judge, I provided you the PSI because this journey for this individual starts with that sentence, and I don't have that date in front of me. I think it was
21.
June 21st, 21. Your Honor properly sentenced him to 18 months on a DWI. That sentence, child passenger, that has properly been discharged.
Yeah.
And I believe and you saw that coming, Judge. I knew that you had the amount of time that he was going to be in custody. It only resulted after that sentencing date, him being in custody a short time before that was discharged. I think ideally, whenever you gave him this deferred on the aggravated assault, you knew you couldn't give him the straight probation. You had a concept in mind that we'd get his attention whenever he goes off, makes whatever parole on the third case, which is the attempted burglary of a habitation. He received an 8-year sentence on that. And I know your goal was intended to have some level of supervision whenever he got out. Therein lies
well on his own supervision.
and therein lies the problem, and why I'm going to argue with you that we don't continue him. He was granted this parole. He was given chances with parole to do certain things. When he was under that, monitoring that, he chose to abscond from one of the halfway houses. He did that back in January of 23. All that at a time in which our department is really trying to work with him. He's still trying to take care of other matters, and I understand that. But he had windows of opportunity to come in and see people face to face and chose not to. He's going to argue that he was relying upon the parole supervision, but Judge, you know that that's just not acceptable. Whenever people are placed on these kind of split sentences, for lack of a better way to put it, you're asking them to be supervised not only by parole, but by our department as well. He was choosing to just let parole handle it. The second problem, in my opinion, that he's got is that he had opportunities to come in and come face to face, chose not to. We held an administrative hearing after all this. That was back in May. You've already detailed all those matters. No probation hold had been done yet because the DA's office had not processed the motion to revoke probation and resulted in the warrant. So when the parole let him out, he just went on about his merry way again. They sent him to a different halfway house, and again, he makes another wrong decision. He leaves there. Now, neither one of those is when parole says, hey, you can leave. He absconds. Escapes is another term for that. Voluntarily absents himself. He's choosing to make the rules. That's not how this operates. And Judge, whenever this original sentence was done, I made the argument then that the case itself that he was placed on probation for warranted a 12-year sentence. It was capped at 12 years. I remember arguing for 12 years. I'm not saying you were wrong to give this man a chance. But I can say today that based upon his conduct, he sure didn't get what I argued when I stood here before you and suggested that he should get a 12-year sentence. And I guarantee you he's about to ask you for another chance.
And
I don't agree with it.
What
I
do
think
you-
the 12 years that I asked for before is what's warranted here. Based on the facts of the evidence that he was placed on probation for, that offense itself argues for 12 years.
and defense.
And
That's
Judge, I think that Mr. Fitzgerald and I have calculated it up over the past 5 years. He's only had 65 free days of having an opportunity to contact probation or actually perform a probation related duty. That's just over 2 months of time if we're thinking about it realistically.
No,
From-
but he only needs one.
I understand, Judge, but from the complications that come from him hopping around from
There's only one
Jefferson
day.
County to Orange to Harris County,
No, but
I know that-
it's- Yeah,
I know we talk about him having a chance before, but also how are we defining the word chance? Because to me, he was never actually given a real chance to be on actual probation because of all of the complications leading up to this point. And if he were to have an actual chance at being successful on probation, I think that he himself would tell you that he would do everything he could to be successful.
but he's admitted to 4 violations. Right?
Violations that he could
Failed to report,
correct if
Failed
he
to
was given a
provide.
real chance at on probation.
but he. Okay. What's probation say before? Have you ever even met the man?
I've met him in the county jail.
That's the only time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've never even been to the probation office?
No, because I was, Your Honor, I was locked up November.
How many days has he been out that he could have reported? How many, you told me, how
Yeah,
many?
it was 21 and then 65, 21 and 65, and 87 days.
87 days.
Or
Yeah, I know,
87
87 days, sir. I mean,
I understand.
well, 87 days,
And
3 months of time, my goodness. And you never did anything about contacting anybody, right here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you see anything wrong with that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
Another thing, Your Honor, is
Yeah.
as hard as that is, they put probation in Port Arthur and then they put me at a halfway house in Beaumont. The transitional bus doesn't drive over there. I've already tried. And another thing,
Look, impossibility to perform isn't, I'm sure your attorney would have told you this if you talked to them about it. They would tell you, if it's impossible to perform, you gotta figure it out, but you come to me. And I'm not gonna say, no, because you're supposed to walk back and forth from Beaumont. I'm not gonna say that.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, we would have fixed that. So don't say that, if it's impossible, impossibility to perform is an excuse and a defense under law.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, the law's not that way. Sorry. Because if it was, if we wanted to get people, we go, you got to report in Spokane every week.
Yes, Your Honor.
We don't do that. We try to make it easy for you We want people to complete. She and her staff, over 90% success rate.
Yes, Your Honor.
The average is 75 in the country. 90% were successful rate. Don't say that we don't take pride
Yes, sir.
and if we lose anyone, we get upset about it because we'd like to see 100%, but 90% is as good as it can be done. Nobody else does that. So it's not their fault.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the responsibility in birth. We got a child that was injured here, right? In this offense?
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is offense, okay. I'm a little unclear what your position is. What were the child's injuries, if any?
Well, I think it was just like a bruised eye or something like that. I'm not for sure.
Well, it's your child, right?
No, sir, it was my stepkid.
Your
It was, I'm being honest with you.
stepkid?
Yeah.
You mean a person that,
Yeah,
I'm
not-
sorry,
not my
that you had a relationship under law that you were responsible for as a
Yes, sir.
step parent, right? What was their injury? I'm
Yeah,
unclear.
like
Your-
a bruise on the eye, yes, sir.
Is that your final answer? Let me read to you what happened. Your blood sample was taken when you had the children and you were driving and you crashed. Your blood alcohol level was 0.172. That's over twice the legal limit.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you had children that you were supposed to be taking care of. You were booked in for driving while intoxicating with child passengers and intoxication assault due to the youngest child, Faith Morgan, suffering a broken facial bone and having to be transported to Texas Children's Hospital by life flight.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what you're telling me is a bruise, just a little bruise to the eye?
I just remember going to jail behind it.
You don't really even care to know about what the facts are. It was your responsibility, sir. You had a little child, two little children. And to this day, you won't admit what is in the record there.
I never seen.
There it is. Brought by life flight. They don't do that except in rare special occasions where there's life-threatening conditions. And you try to tell me how much you care about your children, and you call this just a little bruise to the eye.
I haven't got to see the paperwork, Your Honor. I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, but I haven't got to
This
see the
happened.
paperwork in 2020, and I've only been out.
You think in 5 years you would have cared to find out?
I've been,
If you really cared?
I've been locked up, Your Honor.
I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for her.
So,
And the children that you were supposed to be taking care of, that you were completely, totally irresponsible for. You pay for that. Those children need better supervision. You had that opportunity. Your actions show you didn't care. You were more concerned about getting high. To this day, you don't even care to know how serious that child was injured by your actions. 5 years, you hadn't even had any interest or any inclination to discover.
I mean,
You don't care
I've been
about
frustrated,
others.
Your Honor.
You don't care about others. You just cared about yourself. That's what's obvious here. And your whining doesn't make a difference. I feel sorry for the children that were stuck with you as a responsible party over their lives. This is your version. I was drinking and driving with my girlfriend's kids in the car. But yes, just your girlfriend, it wasn't married to her? Yeah. I got in a wreck and the little girl got a black eye. That's what you said. Mac, it's just laughable because it's so pathetic. This was. And what else? I don't remember much about all of that.
Yes, sir. I've been incarcerated, so I couldn't find out too much of it.
Sir, you've been free for days. We talked about this. You've been for a lot of days. But people, you can find out. You could have cared to try to find out if you were really worthy of the responsibility to be a parent. like figure, which is what you were responsible for when you have anybody in the car, much less little children. Let me look at just one thing. Hold on. Do you have any information on that crash? Do you have any information on that car wreck?
It's in the PSI, Judge.
Oh,
I may be able to pull it out of my
I have.
head, or I may have it on
I have a portion of it.
the media, Judge. What are you looking for now? That is to the erect, Judge.
Mm-hmm. You're lucky you got a great lawyer here, but she can't make miracles. You gotta lift your own weight, sir, on responsibility.
What would you like to see,
You have a police report?
police report?
Mm.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. You want to print it out?
I know I've come across it, but I can't find what I'm looking for right this moment, but I think it's in the police. Anybody have a copy of that? I can
I
look
don't have a
at?
paper copy. Just for your-
Do you have some on
Yeah.
a laptop? I can.
Is that Officer Rivera?
The longer one.
Let's see if it's, yeah, that's my memory as it was.
Oh, I scroll. Oh, there it is.
On the mouse pad. Does it say what officer that is, Judge? What are you doing out there?
Hope there wasn't anything important on here. I just erased everything. Hard drive just got taken out. Yeah, how do we scroll down? How do I scroll down?
If you use 2 fingers, it scrolls up.
Oh, right here?
No, no, no,
No,
on the trackpad down there.
You
Oh.
use 2 fingers.
nope, on the trackpad.
I don't have a laptop like that. I've got a Dell computer.
It's gotta be one of those
Okay.
fancy Apple
Yeah.
computers.
Okay, I see. I'm
This
sorry.
is Officer
That's what I have.
Singleton.
Okay, I can do that.
Singleton. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
It's all done.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Can you do this again? This isn't,
That's not what you're remembering, Your Honor.
this isn't clear, but what I'm asking is, were the children even buckled in a safety belt?
I can answer.
Because I don't think they were, as I'm reading this. Well, you were oblivious because like they say, you were like incoherent with the police. You were stumbling, falling over at one point. There's nothing that reflects the children were even in a safety, were even safely in their safety belt to prevent injuries.
Make sure that they want a car seat.
Yeah. They were in a car seat and and the child almost, had a serious injury to her eye in a car seat.
Yes, sir.
How do you think that happened? No, what did she hit? Was she in the front or the back?
She was in the back seat.
In the back seat, what'd she hit that almost
I don't know,
hurt her eye?
The car seat came up. It came up to like the middle of the console.
Anyway,
Yes, sir.
no, well, it's obvious though, when you're twice the legal limit, you've got children in the car, you couldn't care less about them. You only cared about getting high. And then you're driving a 4,000-pound missile around with 2 children and you're incoherent.
Crash report indicates the kids were 2 and 4 years old. The restraint noted on the crash report is 99, but I don't see what a reference as to whether or not that means a child seat or not, Judge.
Okay. All right, let's get back to this. Let's finish this. I think we've beaten it enough. All right, I see what everybody says. Finally, you, sir, you had a chance to be heard one more time. If nothing further, I'm going to find there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. As allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been proven true by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, and your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked, sir. What is the state asking for again?
Judge, 12 years, it's what I asked for initially. It's where I'm still standing today.
I know where,
You know what I'm asking for.
I know what you're asking for. All right. Earlier in this case, you pleaded guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon, namely an automobile, in the manner of its use or intended use, was capable of causing serious bodily injury and death. And there was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea, voluntarily and knowingly made by State's Exhibit 1 admitted to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. How old were the children?
4 and 2, Judge.
And I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this underlying offense. And you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 8 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
This judgment shall reflect in this aggravated assault that a deadly weapon was used in the commission of this offense, namely a motor vehicle. Do you understand what has happened today, sir?
Yes, Your
You will
Honor.
be given credit for time you have served in connection with this offense. Anything else? That is all.
Well, that's Judge Stevens, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving from seriously sad and kind of down to a little bit more upbeat with some Judge McNally, who has some very disgruntled individuals in front of him today. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get it all started right now.
Johnson, Crystal Ann Johnson, 25M491844. Is Ms. Johnson here? There she, yeah, there you are. Ma'am, you have to unmute and state your name, and then Trooper, state your name, please.
Trooper Weston Williams.
Crystal Johnson.
All right, any offer here, Trooper?
Is this for Mr. Ali?
No, it's for Crystal Johnson. This is a violation of basic speed law. So she slowed off the roadway into the woods due to a snowy, wet condition.
Yeah, I'd offer impeding traffic.
Do you want to plead to impeding traffic, ma'am?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, so I want to just have you listen to me a second here, and then we can go from there, okay? It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me whether you take impeding traffic or not. We have a hearing that can take place right now by Zoom. Violation of the basic speed law requires you to keep your vehicle under control at all times, no matter the road conditions. So if, as an example, I determined that you were traveling and you drove off into the off the roadway, that would be a violation of the basic speed law. I'm not trying to talk you out of having the hearing, but if we have the hearing and you lose, you're going to get the points. So but I'm not under any circumstance trying to talk you out of having a hearing.
I understand.
So do you want to have the hearing still, or do you want to plead to impeding?
I want to have the hearing.
Raise your right hands. Trooper, I need to see your hand, please. You solemnly swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you'll give in these proceedings will be the whole truth, so help you God. Trooper?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am?
Yes,
Okay, you can proceed, Trooper.
I'm on a crash right now, sir. Do you mind giving me 1 second here? My partner's
No,
gonna
take
kick
your
these
time.
people loose real quick.
Pardon?
My partner's gonna kick these occupants loose, and just give me 1 second here. I apologize.
No problem. Do you have any questions about what I said, Ms. Johnson, before we begin?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have Marissa Sedlar here, Lisa?
2022 54.
Go ahead.
They saw mine over the wall, blocking the left lane and causing a major backup. Let's see what's going on. I can't get any cars.
Lisa, can you hear me? Is Marissa Jade Sedlar out there?
Yes, she is.
Why don't you bring her in, and that'd be Trooper Pusilowski.
He's not here on Zoom.
Okay, people against Marissa
Yes.
Jade Sedlar, 25M493218. Your name, ma'am?
Marissa Jade Sedler.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
The officer failed to appear. I gave him 15 minutes. Case dismissed.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set. Have a good day. Be careful out there. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. All right, recalling Crystal Ann Johnson, 25M491844. Trooper, your name again?
Trooper Weston Williams.
Ms. Johnson, your name again?
Crystal Johnson.
I've had you both sworn in. Trooper, you can go ahead and proceed.
Yes, sir. On 2/15/2025 at approximately 10:39 in the morning, I was dispatched to a crash. It was a one vehicle crash. The driver slid off in the right ditch. It was snowy conditions that day, and I wrote her a citation for a violation of basic speed law.
And that
And that
was
was
Ms.
South
Johnson.
75. Yes, sir. That was South 75 near Gibraltar
Sibley.
Okay.
or Sibley. Sorry about that.
Okay. Any questions of him, Ms. Johnson?
I have no questions, sir.
Do you wish to testify?
I do. I actually wish I could be in court right now, but obviously Trooper Williams isn't there, so it wouldn't matter. He arrived an hour after the situation, so I would like to state that. Therefore, he had no idea what the conditions were of the roads. I would like to state that I drove 34 miles without incident before sliding off the road. So clearly I was not driving erratically if I made it 34 miles in a snowstorm. I printed out pictures of what the conditions were. You can see his vehicle right there.
Ma'am,
yes.
before we go on,
Yes.
I'm gonna listen to you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be a legislator here, though. I didn't write this law. And it says what it says. And
Understood,
that
sir.
is clearly a violation of the basic speed law. I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm not trying to be mean or any other such thing. This was a technical violation of the basic speed law. I cannot do anything but find you responsible. If you want to take the beating, you're going to save yourself 2 points. Now,
Sir?
I'm going to listen to you. I'm not going to debate it with you. I'm just trying to tell you again nicely, and then you can tell me, Judge, I want to proceed, or Judge, I want to take the plea, and I'll shut up and listen.
Okay, Judge, I am wanting to proceed.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
And the reason I am proceeding is because there was no speed violation whatsoever. as I made it 34 miles without any issue or incident. The officer or you're not listening, so this is great. You're as great as the trooper is. And I would like it on.
Whoa.
No, I want this
Whoa.
on record that this is what the problem is, and this is why I did not want to take the impeding traffic. The officer mocked me. The officer made sure to belittle me. And I refuse to allow that kind of treatment.
Okay.
So that is where I'm
Anything
coming
else?
from. That would be it, sir.
I want to make sure that you've had full opportunity to tell me everything.
No, I haven't, because you have made it clear that you do not care to listen either. And it is okay. I have gone through the chain of commands that I need to, and I will continue.
I could tell you had a chip on your shoulder from the get-go. You know that?
Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to help you here, and you want to make you want me to make my own laws, and that I can't do. I just asked. Hang on. I asked to see your record. That's all I said. Do not accuse me of not listening. I heard every single word you said. If there's anything else you want to say, go ahead and say it. I'm all ears. I'll listen to whatever else.
Okay, I'm going to speak now then. Is that okay?
No, it's not right now. Trooper, did you mock her in any way?
No, sir. So she filed a complaint against me to my post commander. He sent the video up to our internal affairs who investigates complaints, and they didn't find anything wrong with the interaction we had. The only thing that was wrong, I wasn't wearing my hat.
You were wearing your hat, sir.
That's what I told them, but I wasn't wearing it for the whole time. So that's what they talked to me about. I didn't get in trouble for anything else of how we interacted with each other. So.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
So when he asked me if I was speeding, I told him I was not. And he gestured to the people driving down the road and said, well, none of these people are flying off the road. To me, that is mocking me. I had been through something traumatic, and for him to say something like that and compare me to people is absolutely sad and not okay. Period. And it went downhill from there. It's not that I have a chip on my shoulder. I showed him the utmost respect. I tried very hard to be very kind until that moment. Then I told him I did not want to speak to him anymore. And he continued to follow me. And I don't feel as though that kind of treatment, basically victim shaming people, is the way to handle yourself as an officer. I went home and had a conversation with my 21 and 16-year-old to let them know, do not call the police if you are ever in trouble. They do not care.
Gosh.
It was awful. It was a bad situation. It's not a chip on my shoulder. It's me being hurt.
All right, listen. Okay. Anything else?
That's it. Just that it was a snowy
I want you to
condition.
understand. I would never condone anybody talking to anybody in a demeaning fashion.
Well,
okay?
It was.
Well, but that doesn't entitle you to a dismissal of the case. I tried to tell you nicely. I tried to tell you 2 or 3. I mean, I don't have any choice but to find you responsible as charged.
That's fine.
I really wish you would have taken the impeding. I really do.
That's fine.
135 is your total. Can you pay that today, or do you need time?
I can pay that today.
Okay, you can go online on 33court.com.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, ma'am. I wish you well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
People against Karen Pasquale, Kara Emma Pasquale, 25W8376662. Is the officer here, Lisa? Officer Guzman. Yes. Officer, your name? Good morning, officer. Your name? You're muted.
Good morning, Your Honor. Officer Guzman.
Ms. Pasquale, your name?
Hi, Karen Pasquale.
So you're charged with disobey the traffic signal. You said you wanted an informal. I'm sure she'll offer you impeding again. I mean, she did offer you impeding. You don't want to plead to impeding? You want to go to this hearing still? I mean, she could ask me to amend the case. I'm not saying she's going to do that, amend the charge.
Well, Judge, she told me that it was yellow until I was under it and it turned red. So when I asked her superior officer about that, he said that didn't warrant a ticket.
What do you want to do, Ms. Guzman? Do you feel like she ran the red light here?
Your Honor, I already amended it down to impeding, so I'm willing to fight against it. Do you want me to just give the whole situation?
If you guys aren't going to resolve it, I'm just going to have you both swear. I'm going to swear you both in and let you speak. Raise your right hands. You solemnly swear affirm under penalties of perjury the testimony you'll give in these proceedings will be the whole truth, so help you God. Ms. Officer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Ms. Pasquale?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Yes, Your Honor. So on
I know you're a young officer. I'm just telling you what can happen when you write for impeding.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
mean, you do what you want. I'm just telling you, then all your cards are kind of like out of your hand. You follow me? I mean,
Yes, Your Honor.
But go ahead. You go ahead now.
Yep. So on 2/5/2025 at approximately 11:17 hours, I was in the left-hand turn lane on Allen Road facing northbound. We had a blinking yellow light.
Wait a minute. Left-hand turn lane of Allen Road?
Yes, Your Honor, at the Allen Road and King Road intersection.
I see. And you were facing which direction?
I was facing northbound.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, so I was facing northbound. We had a blinking yellow light. I was watching traffic proceed, traveling south and north. The north and south traffic, the light turned yellow. And then I was watching traffic go through. I noticed a vehicle speed up to beat the yellow light. As that vehicle went through, it turned red. That vehicle had to pass another vehicle who stopped behind that yellow light in order to get past it. So I activated my lights. I initiated a traffic stop, made contact with the driver, who was Miss Karen Pasquale. I advised her the reason of the stop. She proceeded through the yellow light, and it turned red as she went through it. And then I gave her a citation for impeding traffic, cut it down a little bit, and she said that she passed the vehicle to get through the light because the car in front of her stopped, and she was afraid that she might hit it. That car in front of her had enough time to stop at the yellow light. Therefore, in my eyes, she purposely sped through it. She had more than enough time to stop for that yellow light. And then she stated that she went through a yellow light. It was not red as it turned through. I stated that it was. But in itself, going through an amber light is also a violation.
Right.
However, I still cut it down to impeding traffic.
Any questions of her?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Pasquale?
Does she have body cam that shows our conversation?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. And then when we had our discussion, you did tell me that it was yellow when I went through it and it was red when I was under it.
Correct.
Correct. And I did not tell you that I tried to avoid a vehicle. I did not feel that it was safe to stop at a yellow light. So I followed the law and went through a yellow light that was not red until you said I was under.
That you have to, you have to stop
Absolutely.
if you can on a yellow light, right?
Absolutely. I did not feel it was safe, and I had passed that car up way before that light turned yellow. So avoiding somebody stopping fast is not an unsafe driver or against the law either.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand what you guys are saying about passing a car. You were turning left onto eastbound on King, right? You were turning left on onto, wait a minute, you were going northbound. So you were turning left onto westbound King, right?
The officer was,
yes. Yes, Your Honor, I was, yes.
Yeah, and she was coming southbound on Allen and turning left onto King, right? So she was turning on the eastbound King.
No, I wasn't turning. I was going straight, Your Honor.
She was traveling straight, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't slowing down at all. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything
Were
wrong.
you traveling northbound or southbound?
I was going southbound, if you're asking me.
I am. All right, so you're going southbound. And what car are you talking about that she was passing? Can you tell me? I'm not clear on that.
Yes, Your Honor. So she was in the middle lane. There was a car in front of her who stopped at the yellow light. She passed on the right side to avoid that vehicle to go through the yellow light.
Wait a second.
She's
you-
interpreting.
Wait a minute, slow down. I guess I'm just losing it here. I'm not understanding. Maybe I got my head with one thing. She is going southbound, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you said the middle lane, there's a turn lane there on Allen and King, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's a turn lane there, and then there's 2 lanes going southbound and 2 lanes going northbound.
Yes, Your Honor. So she was in
What
the
do you
middle
mean
lane.
when you say, hang on, slow down. When you say middle lane, what lane are you talking about? There's only a middle left turn lane, and there's 2 northbound and 2 southbound lanes there. That's where you're
Yes.
throwing me.
I gotcha. So the 2 lanes that are heading southbound, you have the right lane, the center lane, and the left turning lane. She was in that
Okay,
center
well, I would
lane
call
if
it
we're
the
talking
left
about heading
lane.
southbound.
I would call it the left lane of southbound Allen Road, but that's, so you're
Gotcha,
saying she was
gotcha.
going in the left lane, right?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
And she passed a car that you said was doing what?
There was a vehicle in front of her. She passed that
Okay.
vehicle into the right lane in the southbound lanes in order to go through that yellow light. That other vehicle was able to stop at the yellow light.
I see. Is
Your
that
Honor,
true?
No, that car had other, it was also behind other vehicles. I went into the right lane because I wanted to go in the right lane. There was more cars in that lane. She can't interpret my thinking. And I was not speeding. I did not go through a red light. I did not stop abruptly because I had my grandchild in the car and I'm a safe driver and I wouldn't have.
What did she say to you when you stopped her, officer?
Yes, Your Honor. She told me that she avoided those vehicles, right? She was passing them because she felt she didn't have enough time to stop. However, in my defense, I feel that if those vehicles had time to stop, she had plenty of time to stop as well.
They were in a
Did you
totally
tell her
different.
that?
Yes,
Did you
Your
tell
Honor.
her that?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, but did you tell her that you switched lanes because you didn't have time to stop for the other vehicles?
I don't believe I told her that, Your Honor. All I did was tell her I changed lanes and that I would not stop because it wasn't safe for me. And whether I avoided a vehicle or
Why
not,
wasn't
I've got the
it
right to
safe?
change
But wait a
lanes.
minute, wait. That's where you're losing me. Why wasn't it safe for you to stop? Because the
I'm
other
just-
vehicles had stopped?
No, all I did in my defense of her was to tell her if I thought that the yellow light was so far yellow or that I should stop or that it changed with time for me to stop safely, I would have. I wasn't going to make an unsafe stop.
Okay, were the vehicles in front of you stopped or still moving? And
No,
in the
there
left
was no-
lane of southbound Allen Road?
There was multiple vehicles, but I turned the right lane way before any light change. And because, when you're able to change lanes at will, whether I changed lanes because I wanted to be in the right lane, or whether I changed lanes because there were so many cars in front of me, I don't know. I just changed lanes.
Well, I understand that. I want to ask you one more question. I'm not understanding though, when you're saying to me, I changed lane, I ran through the light or I went through the yellow light because I didn't feel like it was safe. Am I putting your words in your mouth or not?
Yeah, I think you misinterpreted me. What I meant to say was.
Okay, tell me again.
If the yellow light turned in time for me to stop safely, I would have. So that there's no way that I thought that light had turned yellow to where I could stop safely. That's what a yellow light's
Do you
for.
have-
If you can stop safely,
do
you
you have-
stop. If you can't, it's a yellow light that you're able to go through safely.
Do you have notes or
Your Honor,
anything,
also,
officer?
you're also, can I make one more point, Officer?
Sure.
Judge? If she's under the light turning left, I kind of doubt she knows when that light was turning yellow and red.
I wasn't directly
Can
under
you
it, Your
res-
Honor.
What car were you in the lineup of left-hand turn there?
Second, Your Honor, I had one vehicle in front of me.
And you're sure that she ran the red light, or at least was underneath the traffic signal?
Yes, Your Honor. She was the only vehicle that proceeded through.
And when you say that, are you sticking with your story that the other two vehicles or other vehicles in the left lane of southbound Allen had already stopped before
Your
she went through the intersection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else that you want to say, officer?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Pasquale?
Your Honor, I have an impeccable record. I'm a safe driver. I follow the law. I know how to drive. I'm 63 years old. And I did not, and she admitted to me when she pulled me over that I did not run a red light, that it was red when it was under my car, my car was under the light. When I asked numerous police officers from Trenton and Woodhaven, and her officer that I spoke with when I showed up before.
Sometimes they want to lip off too. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I asked for an
don't-
honest opinion. and
Anybody knows that you have to stop on a yellow light if you
Yes,
can.
if I can.
And I don't, look, I understand. I'm just going to disagree with you. I'm going to find you responsible. It's 150. You can appeal this if you'd like to the other judge. If you want to just tell them, hey, I want to appeal that decision, it is 0 points. It's not going on your record, but you can feel free to appeal to Judge Hessen, okay?
Judge, I just feel that her superior officer, the magistrate, when I showed up in court the first time when she wasn't there, said that he didn't feel that this was something she should have written a ticket for. So I don't know if I was targeted because I'm an old
some of these guys
person
want
or
to
my
run
car.
for Congress. Some of these guys want to run for Congress. I've been watching this my whole career. It's easy to criticize. Unless that officer was there, they ought not be yapping their gums. You can tell that officer that I said that. That's all I'm telling you. Tiffany Reed, can you see where that other file is? Tiffany Nicole Reed, Chew for B147091A and B, and 23W8334458. Mr. Zolnick's date Ford is his last name. I thought I had it on my desk this morning.
I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, it's over there. It's got to be over there. I think I sent that in with you, Tabitha. Ms. Reed, your name?
Tiffany Reed.
All right, I'm going to arraign you on a failure to pay 213 and failure to pay 282.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
so
why aren't you paying your tickets?
Well, to be honest with you, I resolved all my tickets. I paid $2,000. I got my license back, and I was trying to get insurance at the time. And because I was defaulted, and because I had the suspension on my account, they wanted $1,500. I'm a single mom. My fiance just went to prison. I lost my job because I got the suspension from my license. So like I got an eviction too because I lost my job. Like I don't know. I'm not made of money. I don't know what to do. I can't drive. I got to get my son to school every day. Like I don't know.
All right, settle down.
I know it's just I'm stressed out. I don't know what to do about it, and I'm nervous to go to jail, and I don't want to go to jail.
Nobody wants to send you to jail, but you
Okay.
got to come and communicate. You got to come and communicate with judges, okay?
Okay.
When you don't communicate with us, it makes us think that you just don't care about authority or the system or anything else. If you talk to people and say, listen, I can't pay this. You want me to eat, don't you, Judge? That's one thing.
Yeah, Doctor.
But
I think it was
ignoring
Ms. Coleman.
Just slow down. I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
But just ignoring us like this is not the answer. So whoever is teaching you that kind of nonsense, make sure you tell them they're wrong. Okay? Will you do that for me, please?
Isn't this my first court date with you?
It's your first court date with me, but you didn't pay. You went into default on these. These are from November. You had another payment plan in front of Judge Hessen here that it looks like you didn't pay anything on, and you didn't come and talk to her and say, Judge, can I have an extension? So I'm just going by the records. Wait. I'm just going by the records that I have. How much money do you have to pay today?
Well, this is the thing. I don't know because when my last court date with her, we agreed and I paid everything full that day. I paid it was like $2,000. I did the reinstatement fee
Wait
for
a
my
minute,
license.
slow down.
Hmm.
I have one file in front of me. It's a driving while allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. It's out of Woodhaven. She ordered you to pay $105 a month starting November 18th of 24, and it looks like you haven't paid a nickel.
But I have all the paperwork showing my reinstatement fees and everything that I paid that. My mom was there with me. But we paid $2,000.
Hang on.
Judge, she does have other cases that she paid in August of 24.
I know, I'm sure that there were other cases, ma'am. We don't make mistakes like that here. We don't make mistakes like that here. Yo, 282 plus 45 on the no proof of insurance. You can't drive without insurance. You owe $213 on the expired plate, and you owe $387 on the drive while allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. Now, I don't want to make a big issue with this, but you're going to have to come up with some money. I'm not going to send you to jail, but you're going to go into suspension on this no proof if you haven't already. She hasn't yet, right?
Let me check.
She might have. It looks like she did.
Yeah, she is.
You're in suspension on that now. See, you can't just.
Well, okay, this is where I'm confused though, Judge. I thought when I was in there with the Ms. Coleman that I paid all that in full. I did, however, get pulled over by Brownstown and I got 2 tickets with them, but I did have my license reinstated. So I don't know where this other driving on a suspension with you guys in Woodhaven is. I thought those were resolved.
Do you want me to
Judge
explain it, Judge?
Hessen's. No, Judge Hessen sentenced you in October on that charge. I'm sure you've paid others. Nobody's excusing that. Nobody is taking that away from you. You paid the others, but you let these go into default. You didn't call us, and you got the case with Judge Hessen. So I don't know what to tell you. How much can you pay today?
I don't have anything today. But I do want to set up a payment plan if I can, so I could start trying to figure something out to pay towards it.
Okay, but before you get all uptight, let's just put this in perspective. You've missed court dates here. This case should have been done with. You got this ticket, the one out of Woodhaven. I'm talking out of the city of Woodhaven, December 7th of 23. So you've had already 16 months to pay on that.
Yeah, that's the one I'm confused about. That whole case, I thought that's when I got my car impounded and everything. I thought that was all paid off with that last court date I had with her. The only
She would not have set a payment plan. You just tell me what you can afford to pay.
$50.
Today or when?
Can you give me till next week?
How often you gonna pay $50?
I can try every 2 weeks that's kind of, I don't know. I have a lot, I have an eviction right now that I'm facing because I lost doing Uber due to all
right,
this.
slow down.
Huge mess.
Slow down. Just listen to me. I'm gonna give you some leeway time.
I appreciate it.
But the problem is you're in suspension now.
I know, and it's hard because I'm a single mom and I have to get my son to school every day. It's hard.
All right, let's do this. Even though you've been irresponsible here, Lisa, I'm gonna let her pay the $45 clearance fee first, okay?
Thank you.
She's gonna understand that if I'm going out of my way like this, I expect you to show the court a little bit of respect.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I do. I appreciate it.
Well, you pay $50 bi-weekly. Here's what I'm going to have you do. Beginning now, I can't lift this suspension until you pay that. Okay? I don't ever do that, by the way.
I appreciate you for doing that.
Well, I don't want to be appreciated. I want you to
Take
be
care
more
of it.
mature about, be
Yes.
more mature about this. I'm gonna say you pay $50 bi-weekly. I won't make you start this until April 4th, but the quicker you pay this, $45, and I'm gonna make a note here, Lisa. Defendant can pay clearance fee first.
Judge, I
Sooner
also
you
want to
do
let you
that,
know that my I'm waiting on my state income tax too. So once I get that, I could pay it all in full probably.
all right. I'll tell you what, I'll just say you pay $50 by April 4th.
Okay.
Fines, costs due on these. Are you gonna have enough to pay all of these?
What is the total amount?
387 plus 327 is 687, 694 plus 213 is 907.
Okay.
If I give you till May 1st, you're gonna be able to pay all of these.
I should have my income tax by then, definitely, yes. If there's no delay.
You pay all of these by May 1.
Okay.
All right.
Now, is
Just
that
give me 1
907
second.
including the
Slow down,
reinstatement fee?
slow down. Just give me 1 second. Let me make some notes. All right, I'm gonna let you pay this. You pay all of these by May 1.
Okay.
I would pay the clearance fee first.
Okay, and that's what, $45?
$45. So the quicker if you pay that today, that suspension will be lifted. You'll have to look at your record or talk to the Secretary of State about the rest. You're gonna
Okay.
pay all the rest of these by May the 1st. I'm
right.
reducing the expired, hang on, just let me finish. Expired plate charge reduced to $165. The no proof insurance charge reduced to $200 plus clearance fee. So I'll reduce that from 327 to 245 essentially. And the other one I'm going to take down to 165 from 213. This other one you're going to have to pay in full.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
If you need more time, you come and talk to me. Don't ignore us. Good luck.
I will, I promise.
Don't
Thank
make-
you.
Life's hard enough without making your own
I know that. That's right. Thank you. I
life
appreciate you.
miserable. Good luck. Thank you.
All right, thanks. You have a good day. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Yeah. James Craig Martin.
Yes, sir.
24B 704583.
Yeah, just stand right here. Oh, yeah, just the camera's right there, okay? Yep.
Good morning,
Morning.
Attorney Corey Westmoreland. Martin.
Mr. Martin, your name?
James Craig Martin.
Detective, your name?
Sergeant Morrison, Brownstown Township Police Department.
He didn't appear for sentencing. We've been getting letters back and forth, emails back and forth. I've told him he either had to show up or post a bond. I set a 75,000 10% bond when he failed to appear for sentencing. And that's where we are with it. I keep getting all these emails and I don't know why he's not showing up, but go ahead. What do you want to say?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd just be asking that this matter be reset for his sentencing. After speaking with him, I did learn that he's had some pretty serious health issues, in addition to not having a ride to court. He is on a very limited income, he's about to start collecting Social Security disability, and he's unable to work because of his poor health. Judge, I just ask that all that be taken into consideration.
Lisa, we're going to need a sentence date on a Tuesday, and I want to make sure that all the victims are notified and the prosecutor and the defense lawyer, and we'll set this. I guess we should probably do it a minimum of a week from Tuesday, but we might even want to go longer. So Go ahead. What would you like to say, Detective? Anything?
Yes, Your Honor. As you know, this warrant was issued in August 2024. We've been actively looking for Mr. Martin since that time. We've attempted search warrants, but we weren't able to locate him. Yesterday, we received information that he was at his residence. We were going to make entry to go get him when we had probable cause that he was there. We did ultimately find him hiding in an attic. He was hiding in the attic in the ceiling, trying to hide from us. His wife was lying to us, telling us that he didn't have a phone, that he wasn't there.
$50,000 cash or surety. I've heard enough. 50,000 cash or surety. You have to show up in court. I haven't appreciated you playing possum with us here like this. You should have been here. We've gotten emails. I explained through emails how it was going to work, and it's that simple. So, Lisa, I don't see any point in rushing this. Today's the 20th, so I'm thinking maybe the 8th.
Okay, April
That's at least
8:30.
April 8th at 8:30 will be the sentence date. And we'll notify and make sure we notify, I don't remember who was representing him, but that lawyer, I think it must be Mr. Carmen from looking at the file. So, well, that's what we'll do. You have to show up in court, sir. You cannot leave the state without consent. You cannot violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. I don't know why you've done this. You're making things a lot worse for yourself than you needed to. But when I hear this, wife lying and him hiding in the attic, then that's certainly grounds for increasing the bond over what I set it at back in August of 24 when he wasn't here for sentencing. We'll see you here August 8th at 8:30. You have to post that amount to secure your release. Do you understand that? 50,000.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, did you say August 8th or April 8th?
I'm sorry. April 8th. April 8th. April 8th. Okay.
Judge, I'm heading
Thank
into
you.
the courtroom right now.
Thank you.
The funny part about all that is the officer was right. He did say August, and I didn't even catch it until the officer actually said something about that last case. I thought it was too cherry not to leave it in. All of the McNally cases, you got to love Judge McNally. But from Judge McNally on to another place in Michigan, St. Joe County, this is Judge Middleton. A little bit of subset situation. We'll go and check it out right now.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's 8:55. It's Thursday morning, March 20th. And we are about to do a zoning formal hearing set for 9 a.m. The plaintiffs are here. The defendant is not yet here. So I'll let this run for just a minute. The matter was noticed out for live hearing, and so as I indicated, the plaintiffs are here. And first day of spring, and we do have snow. Good morning, everyone. This is 3B District Court. We're about 3 minutes early. There's no harm in that. The title of this case is Sherman Township versus Michelle Maria Fisher.
No. Correct, Judge. I apologize.
Okay. What's the problem?
We're not in Sherman.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Florence Township.
It's the people of the Township of Florence.
Yes, people of the Township of Florence.
I am the people of Township of Florence.
Okay. Mr. Ossoff, do you also do Sherman?
No, I do.
No, it's just Florence. All right. Well, are you Michelle Maria Fisher?
I am.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Jay.
Jay. You're just here for moral support?
He's my husband.
Okay. Jay Fisher?
Correct.
Okay, very good. So you guys are both residents at 17091 Roy's Place?
Correct.
That's a Constantine address. Also present is Mr. Jacob Porter on behalf of the Township of Florence. and their zoning administrator, Mr. Paul Ostoff. Just go through the history as I understand this. Mr. Ostoff issued a citation to the defendant. This is a civil infraction, July 22nd of 2024, alleging violations of the Florence Township zoning enforcement ordinance, Article 1, Article 13, Article 14, non-compliance of Florence Township zoning ordinance, construction of a new structure without a building permit. That was issued on July 22nd of 24. There was an informal hearing in front of the magistrate, and that was held on February 11th in front of Magistrate Luke Laurie. And the defendants were found responsible for the violation. They filed an appeal and asked for a formal hearing. And the formal hearing is in front of the judge. When you have a hearing in front of the magistrate, that's called an informal hearing. If you wish to have a formal hearing, it's in front of the judge. So I'm the judge. I handle almost all of the zoning enforcement cases here. So the defendant filed a formal jurat charging document for this, essentially making the same allegations. The defendant constructed a new structure without a zoning permit. That jurat was sworn to this morning by the enforcement officer, Mr. Ostoff. So we're at a formal hearing for this violation, and means essentially we start from square one. My understanding, it's a de novo hearing, alleging that you built this structure without a permit.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Porter, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you folks ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. May I make a statement first?
Yeah, let me ask, do you wish to make any opening statement?
The only statement that we'll make is that, as the judge already, Your Honor already mentioned, there's no dispute that a zoning permit was not applied for. And a zoning permit was required. And there's also no dispute that a building has been constructed. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll go from there.
All right, Ms. Fisher, what would you like to tell me?
On and for the record, and let the record show, I have the right to face my accuser, and the accuser must be a living man or woman. Therefore, I move to dismiss this matter in the entirety.
Thank you. Your motion's denied, has no merit. And we're going to proceed. Motion to dismiss denied. Mr. Porter?
Yes. Sorry, I'm having just a moment here, Your Honor, if you could give me a second.
Do you wish to call Mr. Ostoff as a witness?
Yes, I was going to pull up some photos as well, Your Honor, and I was just preparing that, but yes, we'll call Ostoff.
All right, Mr. Ostoff, would you come up into the witness box? Good morning, sir. Would you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Paul Ostoff.
Spell your last name.
Osthoff.
Thank you. Mr. Porter?
Good morning. Mr. Ostoff, can you state your position with Florence Township for the record?
I'm the zoning administrator and zoning compliance officer.
And what are your responsibilities for the township under that position?
Responsible to assure compliance with the township zoning ordinances.
All right. And are you aware of the location 17091 Royce Place in Constantine, Michigan?
Yes,
All right. Is that, as far as you are aware, the premises where the defendants reside?
yes.
All right. And you conducted an investigation regarding that premises. Can you tell us the results of that investigation?
Is that located in St. Joseph County and Florence Township?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you tell us the results of that investigation?
We received a complaint about a structure going up in Royce Town subdivision. I went over there, and by the time I got there, there was already the beginning of construction. And I took some pictures. Eventually, I sent them a notice that they're non-compliant with the ordinances. And it just progressed to this point where we're.
At any point in time, did either of the defendants submit a zoning application for construction of any new structure on their premises?
They did not.
And is a zoning permit required under the ordinances for Florence Township to construct a accessory building?
It is.
Now, this is being referred to as two different things. In some portions, it's referred to as a zoning permit, and in some portions, it's referred to as a building permit.
The citation was issued for failure to apply for a zoning permit.
All right. Would they need a zoning permit from the township and a building permit from the building inspector?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is just zoning.
Correct.
Do you know if they ever applied for a building permit for the building inspector?
From what I understand, the building inspector was out there and consequently received a notice from the building inspector notifying them that they were in violation of a building code. I got a copy of that. and,
But that's not part of this citation.
Right, it is not.
All right,
I would be a separate enforcement action, Your Honor.
all right.
Certainly, there's overlap between the building code as well as the zoning ordinances, but the citation involved here today is a zoning permit application.
All right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right, Your Honor. So I have a couple photos to show you, Mr. Ossoff. I may approach.
Yes.
Take a look at those three photographs. Did you take these photographs?
I did.
And as far as you're aware, they accurately represent the depiction in the photographs as it existed at the time you took them?
Correct.
And when did you take them?
July 9th, 2024.
And what is shown in the pictures?
It shows the skeleton of the new structure with a truck in the foreground.
And are these photographs of the premises located at 17091 Royce Place, Constantine, Michigan?
Yes.
Your Honor, we move to admit these three photographs in evidence as plaintiff's exhibit A.
May I see them? Are these fair and accurate pictures of what you saw that day?
Yes, sir.
Would you show these to the defendants?
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any objection to the admission of those photographs? He says that's the way it looked on July 19th.
Yep, I'm there. I'm sitting on the chair.
All right, these photographs may be admitted.
Mr. Ossoff, did you have any conversations with the defendants about applying for a zoning permit?
I sent them a letter
You sent them a letter. What were the details of that letter?
advising them they were non-compliant of the structure and a building permit was required.
Did you ever receive any responses from the defendant?
What was the date of that letter?
I'd have to look at my files.
Would you please?
Yes.
You can bring those right up into the witness box with you if you wish.
You can bring those with you.
Okay.
All right. All right, this one says on it, exhibit number 1. This is dated July 2nd of 2024. Addressed to Mr. J. Fisher. Did you send that letter?
Yes, sir.
And then there is a second one.
That's a complaint.
That's the complaint. All right. The letter was to J. Fisher, but the person charged here is Michelle Fisher. But it was sent to the property owners at that address. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I've got the screen share up here if I could get the thing turned the right way. Well, I've got a sideways picture of, we'll call the one with the truck, exhibit number 1. The one with, I'm not sure what that is, a forklift or a high-low. We'll call that exhibit number 2. And a picture with the back of the high-low on a white tarp. We'll call that exhibit number 3. Would you give these to the court officer so she can put a exhibit stickers on those? Exhibits 1, 2, 3 are admitted. There we go. All right, that's exhibit number 1 on the screen. It shows a looks like a Dodge Ram pickup in front of a skeleton of a what appears to be a pole barn. Is that correct, Mr. Ostoff?
Yes.
All right. Now that would be exhibit number 3. That's another view of this structure. And another view of the structure. That the date of that was, I think you said July the 9th.
Yes, I think that date's on the bottom of the picture. It should show.
July 9th. Yeah. All right. So that's the pole barn structure. All right. You became aware of it because somebody made a complaint with the township?
Yes.
All right. When you went out there, there's a picture of Maybe that's not the right one. All right, anyway, did you speak with anyone?
No, I did not.
All right, okay, Mr. Porter, the three photographs are admitted. 1, 2, and 3. Right now, we're on 1. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ossoff, the photographs that are admitted into evidence under exhibits 1, 2, and 3 show a skeleton of a pole barn, as the judge indicated. Is that the state of the building today?
No.
What's the state of the building today?
Somewhat complete.
What do you mean by somewhat complete?
Last time I was out there and I looked at it, there were windows up and there was some siding up. I haven't been there recently.
When was the last time that you?
Objection, Your
were-
Honor.
Just a minute. What's the objection?
There's no siding on it.
All right, well, you'll have a chance to cross-examine about it, but I'll allow his answer for now. But when were you last out there? Yes.
Maybe two, 3 months ago.
Did you take photographs then?
I believe I do have some other photographs in my file. I don't know if I brought them with me, but I did take a second set of pictures.
As far as you're aware, though, the building, the last time that you were there was still standing and approaching completion.
Windows were in, that kind of thing. I remember that.
Do you know what type of structure this is?
I'd have to define it as a pole barn.
And as far as you're aware, and under your obligations and requirements as a zoning enforcement officer, your interpretation of the ordinance is that this type of building would require a zoning permit?
Yes, it's an accessory building.
And again, no zoning permit was filed, correct? No further questions.
Ms. Fisher, he's under oath. You have an opportunity to ask him questions if you wish. So if you wish to ask anything, go ahead.
Why didn't you contact the property owner?
I did with a letter.
I'm the property owner. You did not. You addressed it to a J. Fisher and he's just a resident there. He's not the property owner. And I've dealt with you before. And you know who the
Objection.
property
What
owner
is the
is.
Just a minute. Yeah, you can ask a question.
Okay, my
So,
apologies.
all right. So let me ask, did you ever speak to anybody in person?
I did not.
Why not?
One time I was out there taking pictures. Mr. Fisher was there. He approached my truck. I was on the road, snapping pictures back, and then I felt I was being, he was being hostile towards me, so I did not.
Well, there's a picture of him taking a picture of you.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so,
just felt hostility there, and I wasn't gonna approach him.
Your Honor.
all right, just a minute.
Sorry.
Why did you send the letter to J. Fisher?
But he was doing the construction of the building.
Objection, Your Honor. Not true.
Well, that's his belief. Maybe it's right or wrong. And then why did you cite Maria Fisher?
Once I got into it and I looked on Fetch, I noticed that she was the deeded property owner. Knowing that they were married and he was constructing the building, I felt addressing either and or both of them was okay, and I found out through the magistrate that it wasn't.
Did you send them other correspondence other than that letter of July 2nd of 2024?
Believe so.
All right, what is presented here is there's a letter to Mr. J. Fisher, July 2nd of 2024, and then a second letter, July 9th of 2024. And I'll read the July 9th letter. Mr. Fisher, this is the second notice for a stop order notice. We spoke by phone yesterday on 7/8, and you confirmed that you received the original stop work notice. You also advised me that you were continuing with the new construction. We discussed your decision to continue the new construction and the possible consequences of your decision. We have no record of a zoning permit for this construction as referenced above. You're hereby required to stop all work and contact this office for a zoning permit application. We are hopeful that you will comply to avoid any further legal action by the township. Fail to comply with this stop order could lead to illegal proceedings for non-compliance with the Florence Township ordinances. The Florence Township ordinances require a zoning permit prior to the start of any new construction or modifications of any existing structures. We appreciate your cooperation. Did you send that letter, I guess, by certified mail to Mr. Fisher on July 9th?
I did.
So you had apparently talked to him by telephone on July 8th.
Yes.
All right, what happened then after July 9th? Is that when you went out and wrote the citations?
I believe so.
I don't know nothing on it.
All right, so the citation, let's talk about that. Is written to Michelle Fisher, resident owner. And the date of that citation is 7/22. So is that when you wrote the first citation?
Yes.
All right, now it cites a bunch of stuff that I don't have. Article 1, Article 13, Article 14 of the zoning ordinance. Mr. Porter, do you have the exact language of what it is they're accused of violating?
I can pull it up. I would say that, again, this is an appeal. There was a judgment by the magistrate finding
Yes.
that a zoning permit was required in this situation, but I
don't doubt that there is. Every township requires a zoning or building permit or both, but I don't, it's sort of a vague citation is what it is that they did. And this is a de novo hearing. De novo means fresh from the start.
You can't bring in stuff from the other court. Lawyer.
Actually, you can.
We can, but it's just, I hear it all over again.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I say something? When this was assigned to Magistrate Ward, he being new, he couldn't find a copy of our zoning ordinances. So I copied him all the ordinances and brought them up here, and there is a copy here at the courthouse.
All right. But you're the plaintiff, you have the burden of proof.
Thank you.
So you don't throw it at the wall and hope it sticks. You have to tell me specifically what it is they allegedly did.
I can get you that language shortly, but I will say that the requirement, as the testimony shows, as his interpretation of as the zoning enforcement officer, as for the township of the zoning ordinances, indicate that a zoning permit application is required for an accessory building. which has all been placed into testimony, but I will provide the.
All right, this is,
link.
well, it's like saying he's guilty of violating the motor vehicle code. All right, well, what did he do? He was speeding. All right, what's the section that prescribes speeding?
Those sections are indicated on the individual.
Yeah, so you're in violation of the motor vehicle code, Judge. You paw through there and figure out which section it is they're guilty of violating. He cites whole sections of it. And I'm not sure exactly what the language says. While you're looking for that, did you go back out there in January of 2025?
I believe I did, just to see what the progress was of the structure.
All right, well, you guys are the plaintiff. I'll let you make your own case.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a recess. This is gonna take a while. All right, we're back on the record and on live feed. We took a short recess. This matter, as I mentioned, was previously heard at an informal hearing, and the magistrate heard the matter. The way it's charged is very broadly charged on a citation. Article 1, Article 13, Article 14, construction of new structure without building permit. Apparently they had to do some sort of a scavenger hunt at the informal hearing to figure out exactly what it was the defendant is accused of violating. Now I'm engaged in the same scavenger hunt. The defendants are here ready to defend their cause. And they ought to know exactly what it is they're accused of doing. I'll accept as a premise that you can't build a building without a zoning permit. Just like you can't speed on the Michigan public highways, but you can't steal or you can't punch somebody in the face. But I'm interested in exactly what section it is and what is they're accused of doing or not doing. They didn't charge not having a building permit, even though apparently they also didn't have a permit. It also appears he issued some sort of a stop, he being Mr. Ostoff, stop work notice to Mr. J. Fisher. This was in the previous hearing as exhibit number 1. It's not yet been moved into an exhibit here, but I read the letter of June 9th into the record, July 9th, 2024 into the record. Mr. Ostoff may have gone out to visit the property later. He's not clear. He may have taken some pictures. He may have talked on the telephone. Very unclear. It's like you didn't read your report before preparing to come to court today. So I'm floundering. Although I haven't yet found it, what it appears is they started building this building without a permit. They were issued a letter and a stop work order. They continued to build the building to some extent, which is not clear. And as far as the testimony is, they've never obtained a zoning permit or a building permit. But the defendants don't have to prove anything. They just have to be here on their behalf. The plaintiff has the burden of proof. And I'm struggling.
So Your Honor, I think we're prepared to.
Go ahead.
As you noted, the citation is broadly cited to multiple articles. Article 13 is the application and public procedures section, which details the application process. But Article 14 is the site plan and site plan review. Section 14.1 indicates the proper development of community requires that various uses of any district be as compatible as possible. There are, however, certain types of activities and structures which, because of size and the amount of traffic generated or attracted under normal use, lend themselves to potential conflict with surrounding uses. The responsibility of Florence Township Planning Commission to provide procedures and ensure with township development according to general intent. 14.2, circumstances that require a site plan, which referring back to Article 13 would be part of the zoning application process. 14.2 indicates that site plans are subject to review for the following uses, all permitted uses in the following districts: high density residential, mobile home park, and commercial and industrial, all permitted uses by special approval in all zoning districts listed in the ordinance, duplex residential, and so on. There's several. This is as indicated by Mr. Ossoff in testimony, a permitted use as an accessory building in this particular zoned section of the township.
Well, how is this section zoned?
High residential.
Which again, under section 14.2 would require a site plan along with submission under the zoning application process for Article 13.
All right. Article 1, Article 13, Article 14 is you're citing section 14.1 and 14.2. Article 13.
Section 13.1 is the application procedures. As well as 13.1 subsection A4 is a requirement for site plans and location maps.
All right, these are all site plans, but they're not zoning permits. Section 2.18 refers to accessory buildings and uses, but the defendant isn't cited under section 2.18. That was the closest thing I could find that would appear to this. Accessory buildings and structures shall be erected in accordance with section 12.1. And then it goes on to describe that. So we've learned this is an accessory building, but they're not charged under that section. They're charged under 13 and 13.1 says following materials shall be submitted to consideration by the township of any site plan. Section 14.1 and 2. See what section 1 says.
Section 1 is the general purpose ordinance.
Yes, what the citation says, non-compliance, Florence Township zoning ordinance, Article 1, Article 13, Article 14. Construction of a new structure without a zoning permit. What I'm looking for is some citation in either of those sections that says you need a zoning permit to build a new structure. And I haven't found it.
So again, Your Honor, at this point in time, I mean, we've cited them under Article 13. I stated the specific sections. I realize that the citation indicates without a zoning permit, but the citations to the particular articles that the defendants have failed to comply with indicate that it's the application and site plan process that they failed to complete. And without a continuance, I can't provide you with a citation for the zoning permit at this time, but I would request a continuance for that. But
Your Honor.
again, the citations under Article 13 and Article 14 are failure to comply with the process to submit a site plan and procedures for building an accessory building.
All right, thank you. Ms. Fisher?
I move to dismiss.
Yes. Do you have any other evidence you wish to present?
No, Your Honor.
They're requesting an adjournment, a continuance. You're requesting a dismissal.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna grant the dismissal. This is embarrassing. I do not doubt that you need a zoning or building permit to build a building like this pole barn in Florence Township. You're not charged with building without a building permit. Although apparently it could be a charge. You're charged with building without a zoning permit. And I don't know what section of the law you allegedly violated. Apparently neither do they.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, that isn't the end of the question. If I just granted a continuance, we'd rehear this, but I'm gonna dismiss it. Then you guys can decide whether you want to charge it properly or not. Charge a specific violation, charge the correct person, give them proper notice of what it is they've allegedly done. Now, the court has equitable jurisdiction in district court in zoning matters. As a general rule, the district court is a court of law rather than the court of equity. Our normal punishments are fine, jail, or probation. This is not a crime, it's a civil infraction. So you can't, as a rule, go to jail for violating a civil infraction. But the court does have equitable jurisdiction in a zoning matter, which means ultimately, if I could order this building be torn down. Apparently there was never any discussion with the owners of bringing the building into compliance. What do I need to do to getting a zoning permit? What do I need to get a building permit? It needs to be inspected, electrical. I don't know if there's probably electricity out there. I don't think there's plumbing or other mechanical,
No
but you can't just put up a pole barn in your yard because you feel like it. There are site plan restrictions on how close it can be to the well or the septic field, how close it could be to the road, how close it can be to the adjoining property, how close it can be to the house. That's what the site plan stuff is about. And so you need to get a permit, but they haven't, as far as I can tell, cited that. So where we're headed, I'm going to grant the motion to dismiss, but it's without prejudice, meaning they could revisit this and file a more formal complaint alleging specific violations of specific sections of the ordinance. And then we'll come back and deal with it. But right now, the target's over here and the charge is over here somewhere. And I'm struggling to find something in what's been cited to me that shows what you did is unlawful. So the magistrate made a finding of responsibility. Apparently they did some more digging than I did, or they found something to hang it on. I don't know, but I am not finding it. So what you can do is reconfigure, file a formal complaint or another citation. But let me ask this. Are you at all interested in getting this building into compliance? Finding out what you need to do to get it proper?
Of course, Your Honor, it's just the way everything that was handled wrong.
Perhaps. And not to mention on your part, if you started building a pole barn without getting a permit, then the wrong's on you. Now, maybe they could have done it better. But as I said, as a general, we can't do this. All right. I'm going to grant the defendant's motion to dismiss without prejudice.
Can I ask a question, Your Honor?
Yes.
Do I get my bond back?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I don't think this is the end of this. I think we'll get it more narrowly and properly charged, and then we'll revisit it. I'm surprised well, I guess depending on where it came from, the power company would turn the power on without proper.
There's no power.
Okay, well, then that issues that. All right, I'm going to do an order granting your motion to dismiss without prejudice and indicate the bond should be returned to you. So if you wait a moment, you can go down the counter and get your bond back.
Thank you.
Mr. Porter, I think we'll probably hear more about this, but we'll deal with it when it comes up.
Certainly, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Just gonna do this order handwritten. I apologize, my handwriting's not too great.
Could you imagine the kids today trying to read our cursive?
Yeah, nobody does cursive. That's a lost art. Mine was never too good anyway.
I'm a bubble letter girl.
You guys are good to go if you want. I'm gonna just do this order and then she can get her bond back.
Fair enough, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Talk soon, Paul.
That's all right.
Live feed is still on, so keep that in mind when we finish this.
Hey, world. How often you can say hi to the world?
Today is 3:20. All right, Ms. Fisher, if you go out to the counter, they'll return your bond to you.
Okay.
I don't think this is over, but it's over for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You can go.
You're free to go.
Thank you, sir. God bless you and have a great day.
Thank you. Out to the clerks, the criminal ladies. All right, we didn't get very far in that.
Well, he didn't get very far on that last one, but we did get all the way through the weekend review. That's all I have for you right now. On the case in Burnett County, I don't have anything new on that. I haven't seen anything new on that. Of course, everybody was watching Simpson yesterday. There was no update from that lady. I don't know if she was there and they actually did it off stream, or if she wasn't there. I'm with everybody else as far as that's concerned. I do have some dockets from Burnett County. I've called myself going through them to see if I saw anything that might be applicable, but I might have missed something. I doubt it very seriously, but I'll go back through all that stuff and see if I can find any updates on the bed and breakfast situation in Burnett County. But as of now, I haven't seen anything. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your Lone Wolf Usul. I'm your host for these here shows on the weekend. I'm your curator for these here videos on this channel. We'll be back this Monday evening at 8 p.m. Central Time for a live chat with the Fleischer Forum. Come by and check us out, and check us out all day, every day, as I drop new videos. When I find something interesting to post, I post it. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you very much. Without you, I'm nothing. Come by every day, say hi. I look forward to seeing you. Same Wolf time, same Wolf channel. Next weekend, all the time, every time. You know how it goes. You are all amazing. And I am your Lone Wolf Usul, and I am out of here. You have a great Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it is for you. Peace out. Good night. Whatever. Dogs want to be let in. Love you, Mom. Show's over. Get it done, shall we? You wanted a Ferris Bueller ending? Well, you get it. But you get it. Why are you still here? Why are you still here? We're done. Go. Go away. There's nothing else to see. No more show. Bye.